Testing, testing. Because I think there's an echo. There was an echo. I don't know how to fix it. Come on, stream. I'm live. Okay, here we go. I need to check the echo. Okay, so maybe there's not an echo. It's just, okay. Anyway, we're coming back to Hamlet. I don't remember where we left off again. Okay, we were either going back to what were the murder options. I can't remember if we might have done everything on Ophelia decides to kill everyone. I think we did everything in that scenario. So let's go back to murder options. Oh yeah, because we were acting crazy. Did we kill everyone because we were acting crazy? I can't remember. Oops. Oh man. Checkpoints. Let's discuss murder options. Yes. Okay, the drowning one. The drowning one was part of acting crazy. We'll do Hamlet's plan where like I pretend to die or something. Just cover the basics. Let's see. Yeah, I think we did everything in this plan. Okay. Yeah, Hamlet killed her father. I'll just keep going. Yeah, we fake our drowning for that bit. Oh, and then we come back at the end, right when everyone's dead. Oops, what was the sorry. Nobody even like cares. Everyone's dead. We say screw this. I don't remember if we say this. Okay, so Fortinbras has just declared himself king because everyone's dead, and so we as Ophelia say, screw this. What gives you the right to be king? You don't even know anything about Denmark. Do so, says Fortinbras. Nuh-uh, you shout in reply. Horatio holds up his hands. Gentlemen, lady, please, I'm sure we can settle this reasonably, he says. He smiles widely. A few minutes later, you and Fortinbras are sitting side by side at a table. Sitting at the other end of the table is Horatio. This is how you will settle your dispute. Horatio will ask you trivia questions about Denmark, and the first person to slap the table and give the correct answer will give a point. I really hope they're not actually going to ask questions about Denmark. I don't know anything about Denmark. The best 2 out of 3, the winner gets to be ruler of Denmark. It's all quite reasonable. Alright, first question. When was Denmark first inhabited? You know for a fact that you're usually fast at slapping tables. What can I say? You had a boring childhood and had to invent your own fun. And as there's no penalties to slapping in first, that's what you do. Then you clear your throat and answer. Fuck. Um, when did people start living in Denmark? I don't fucking know. I'm gonna go with the first answer. Oh, it's correct. Look at that. Ophelia, if you get this next question right, you will be my new queen. Fortinbras If that's who you want to be, then you have to answer this next one right just to stay in the game. Horatio looks at you both and speaks. Next question. How long is the coastline of Denmark? Again, you slap in first. Oh, fuck. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with the first answer again. I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the correct answer. Okay. Ophelia was over in her calculation by 1421 kilometers. Correct, he says. You are tied for first. The person who answers my next question correctly will be ruler of all Denmark. Uh-oh. Final question. I am imagining a speculative future country that I will call the United States of America. This country is made out of many smaller states, each with their own name. Which speculative future state am I thinking of when I say that its land area is slightly less than twice the size of Denmark? I live in America and I don't even know. Okay, what did it say? Slightly less than twice the size of Denmark, so it can't be Massachusetts. It's either Texas or Alaska. I kind of want to get it wrong though and see what happens, because then Fortinbras speaking, and that'll be an ending, right? So let's go with Massachusetts. What? That's correct? Is that correct? There's no way. Okay, I guess I'm just stupid and I don't know how big Denmark is. Okay, be the new Queen of Denmark. Order the removal of usurper Fortinbras from our land and shores. Back to Norway, bro. Fortinbras asks if he has to, and you insist that he really does. He complains but leaves. Hooray. After he's gone, Horatio says he's just got to tell you everything that happened, but he needs to write it down first. You assume it's so that he can get his thoughts straight, but then he shows up with a document where you have to make choices to see what happens. You play as me, he says. He turns the book over in his hands, clearly proud of it. Choose from one of 15 possible endings, he says. On your first run through, you finish the story after only a few pages, and nothing close to what actually happened happens. Unless while you were hanging out in your rooms, Horatio somehow won the lottery, found a magic sword, and married every woman and a few of the dudes. No, no, you're making the wrong choices, Horatio says, clearly frustrated with you. This is stupid, so you make him show you the run he wanted you to play, and since you're the absolute head of state, he totally has to. And while Horatio reads his own book, he explains all about Hamlet's final duel. Good gosh, but it sounds like a pretty silly time. Now, everyone ended up dying except for Horatio and I guess Osric and some ambassadors. Wow, you say. Maybe Hamlet wasn't as noble in reason and infinite in faculty as I always thought he was. Evidently not, Horatio says, looking up from his book and out at all the dead bodies that surround you in the royal court. You walk up to examine one of them, and after a long silence, you speak again. You wanted Claudius dead for weeks, Horatio. He had weeks to take him out, and this is how he finally does it. I guess he wasn't exactly a god of apprehension, huh? I mean, like, in the apprehending a criminal sense of the word. No birds, Horatio says. You agree that Hamlet sure was a real piece of work, and then you order Horatio to clean up and bury the bodies. After they're moved out and all that blood washed away, the royal court is pristine again. You sit on your throne and consider your next move. All of Denmark is yours to control. You can act for social justice, you can expand her borders, you can take over the entire world. Heck, you can do all three if you want to. You're Queen Ophelia. It's time to rule Denmark as the most effective monarch ever in time and not be distracted by your boyfriend's antics and your all out of boyfriends. Yes, your final score is 996 out of 1,000 because, wow, you sure knew a lot about Denmark. And that always counts for something. Okay. I kind of wanted to see what would happen if we got to actually rule Denmark. That would have been interesting. But sure. Tasteless sexism 1, choices made 14s times 1 times you are not 0. Bears married 0, games of tennis played 0. Okay, let's go back. We have to get it wrong this time because I want to see what happens when we lose. Fortinbras becomes the king. Crowning. And then we'll go with Hamlet's plan. I wish there were more checkpoints to choose from, because it sucks having to go through all this again. No, wait. I don't want to do. Wait, go back. Screw this. Here we go. Now, I'm gonna pick the next one because incorrect. Denmark's earliest archaeological findings date back to the Eemian interglacial period. That's from 130,000 to 110,000 BC. Darn it, it's like you read your friggin' mind. Correct, shots Horatio Fortinbras. If you get this next question right, you will be my new king. Ophelia, if that's who you want to be, you gotta get this next one right just to stay in the game. How long of is the coastline of Denmark? Mm-hmm. Say, oh, that's weird. They switched places. What's this? Incorrect. Fortinbras, any ideas? Whichever one was the sixth to enter the Union, he says correct. Charles Horatio leaping up and hugging Fortinbras. You won, dude. You're totally now the king of Denmark. Whoa. So, Horatio invented the speculative country of the United States of America. And asked a question about which one is like twice the size of Denmark or whatever. And then, so they're supposed to like, it's a country they don't even know exists because it doesn't exist. And then Fortinbras' answer is whichever one was the sixth to enter the Union. But how would he know that? Gracefully accept your loss at Denmark trivia. You've bested me in an honorable game of trivia and come out the better for it, you say, offering your hand. Congratulations. Fortinbras looks at you for a moment before accepting your hand. Thanks. You were really fast at slapping a table. Yep, you reply. Well, good luck with Denmark. Everyone I know is dead, so I'm gonna go move somewhere else now. Okay, cool, says Fortinbras, and you're out. You go home to collect your things, staring at your packed bags, you make a split-second decision to move to Italy because you heard it's pretty. Turns out it is. While in Italy, you enroll in university. They have a dudes-only policy, but you have a get-around sexism by dressing such that you pass as a dude policy, so it works out well. After that, you start a successful business making awesome inventions while also painting in your spare time. Long story short, you know that renaissance that everyone's been talking about? All you. P.S. Your final score is really high because I didn't mention it while you were in Italy. You invented flying machines. You used them to fly back to Denmark and shoot foreign bras. Oh wow, you also invented guns. So Ophelia moves to Italy and becomes Leonardo da Vinci, I guess. Cool. Okay. Now we gotta do it again because apparently we can challenge him to a race around the world. 2 tasteless sexisms, 14 choices. Times you were 1, times you were not 0. 0 games of tennis played. Let's do it again. While I'm scrolling, I'm going to open my snacks. I got some sour gummy worms. Snack time. I feel like we're so close to being done with Ophelia, and then like every time there's like more stuff. But when we get to Hamlet, I want to try to do a playthrough that's like exactly or as close to the actual Hamlet as possible. Okay, we're getting there. Also, I don't think I said this already, but happy Labor Day uh, to all the laborers out there. This year I actually have a job where I got the day off, so that's pretty cool. But then also they're begging people to pick up extra shifts tomorrow, so not so sure about that. Okay, let's get these questions wrong again. Technically correct. Achievement get, rules lawyering. Score a point through your pedantry. This one, let's answer Alaska this time. Challenge Fortinbras to a race around the world. You challenge Fortinbras to a race around the world. The first to return is the one that gains Denmark's crown. These are the stakes you proclaim. Man, I just came from Norway. I'm tired of traveling, Fortinbras says. He looks at you and waves dismissively. Off with your head, he sighs. Horatio feels bad about having to cut your head off. But the whole point of a monarchy is you invest all state authority in one single individual, which I guess is why it's not the most effective mode of government after all. Especially when the only constraint on that monarch's power is a constitution that they themselves can rewrite. And I could go on, but you're dead. You died. Your last thoughts are, I hope I get to hear the end of that sentence about monarchy, but nope, dead. Totally dead. Also, there's no coming back as a ghost this time. I don't know what to tell you. So, you kind of managed to not actually accomplish much, and you let your boyfriend do all the killing for you. Plus 3 micro points. Since you kind of turned into a sucky role model for independent, self-sufficient women, I'm going to award you 3 micro points. Everyone else gets 3 macro points. Oh snap, how's that taste? Oh damn. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so now we can choose another murder option, because I think we've exhausted all of those ones. Blast him into space. There we go. Awesome, I'm glad you chose this option. Awesome, Hamlet says. I'm glad you chose this option. So wow, it seems everyone is down with this course of action, Ophelia. Okay, so space travel hasn't been invented yet. If it ever will be, I don't know, because I am from history too. So this is going to be a bit tricky. You and Hamlet spend most of your time trying to invent rocket ships, but this is with old-timey technology, which is like tarps and stuff, so needless to say, it doesn't work. However, a few months into your research, you begin to think that if you can't reach the star, second best isn't so bad. And so you and Hamlet get Claudius drunk and put him in a giant wicker basket attached to a hot air balloon, which is the thing you did manage to invent. Then you send him so far up he suffocates to death in the thin air up there, and then the balloon explodes due to low atmospheric pressure. And then when his body hits the ground, it explodes too, so I guess the saying is wrong after all. Really, revenge is a dish best served at slightly below body temper, dropped from a great height, and observed from a safe distance. That was like the most successful thing we've had this whole time. So if you have an enemy, just throw them up in a hot air balloon. Let's check that out. That's pretty dope. Oh yeah. Choices made 1. Times you were 1, times you were not 0. Times borrowing, lending 0. Restart. Okay. Well, ways to murder a king. Here we go again. Get him to read a book that's just like the murder he committed, and then he'll get nervous and confess, and then we can stab him. Awesome, says Hamlet. We don't know any writers, though, you say. Not a problem, replies Hamlet, for among my princely duties is studying English literature, also Danish literature. I mean, that's great, but that doesn't make you a writer, you say. Just like being a history major doesn't make you, I don't know, Julius Caesar. Please, Ophelia, Hamlet says, taking your hand. Give me a week and you'll have your book. So you give him his week. In that week, you stay mostly in your room, and you don't hear much from Hamlet. King Claudius seems happy that Hamlet has disappeared from view, so not much happens. Oh, you do figure out a way to measure the specific gravity of alcohol while Hamlet's busy? That's pretty cool. All it requires is a flask that's weighed 3 times, once empty, once full of water, and once full of the liquid you're measuring. And then you can Why am I telling you this? You invented the whole technique. Anyway, a week later, Hamlet runs into your room clutching a manuscript. I finished the book, he says. Excellent. Can I read it? Let me read it to you. You see, it's one of those amazing read while an adventure is chosen novels. You choose what happens to the main character, choose from over 3 different outcomes. Oh no, you say. Oh yes, Hamlet says, and clears his throat, and then holds one hand out in front of him. Murder, he shouts dramatically. It is what you committed. Is this true? Hamlet stares at you expectantly. Well, is it? You want me to choose here, you ask? Yes, please. Your options are yes or no. Um, okay, yes. Case closed, says Hamlet, closing the book with a flourish. Hamlet, you say, I love you, but that is a book that sucks, which is slang I'm inventing right now to mean is not a good thing. It really took you a week to write that? Ophelia. Hamlet replies, let's take a moment right now to remember that writing is hard. You stare at each other during that moment. Anyway, Hamlet says, if you don't like my book, check out this other book I found. It's way better than my book, and we can just plagiarize it. What now? Look book. You take the book from Hamlet and read the cover out loud. The Murder of Gonzago. The adventure is being chosen by you story. Can you murder your brother Gonzago and then, playing as your dead brother's son, murder your usurping uncle? I sure hope so. Choose from over 300 different possible endings. That's quite the title, you say. Yeah, they used really small type, Hamlet says. Flipping through the book, you can see that it might actually be a really good fit for your purposes. Hamlet, why do we need to plagiarize this, you ask? Can't we just give the king this copy instead? Oh yeah, says Hamlet. I guess we don't really have to plagiarize it, but I mean, we still could though. Why would we want to do that, you ask? Hamlet stares at you, then seems to reach a decision. Fine, he says. Taking the book from you, he opens it up to the front page and rubs out the words, by me, Hamlet, as well as the line he'd drawn through the actual author's name. What about the cover? You didn't change the name back on the cover, you say. Dust jacket, Hamlet says, throwing a crumpled up piece of paper into the garbage. Ah, you say. Well, what are you waiting for? Let's get the king to read this book. Claudius holds court each morning, and they're always looking for new sources of entertainment. Let's do this. Wait till tomorrow and give the king the book. First thing in the morning, you show up to the royal court. Hamlet's got the book, so all you need to do is observe. You look around the room and see that everyone's here. The new king, the old queen, your dad, Hamlet's weird friends Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and Horatio, a bunch of people you've never met, the whole gang. You notice Hamlet talking to Horatio. He's asking him to also keep an eye on Claudius as he reads the story. Couldn't hurt. Alright, there's nothing left to do. It's go time. Hopefully Hamlet realizes that too. It turns out he does. Hey, Claudius, Hamlet says, brandishing his copy of Gonzago. Why don't you read this book today? I certainly don't see why not, Claudius says, and Hamlet passes him the book. Hamlet seems to hesitate on where to go next, but settles on standing behind the king so he can see what he's reading. As Claudius begins to read, you become really intent on what's happening. In fact, you're staring at Claudius and listening with such insane intensity that you almost feel like you've become the man himself. Uh-oh. In fact, that'd be fun. You are now Claudius. Okay, we're gonna be Claudius. You are now King Claudius. You murdered your brother so you can marry his widow and claim the throne, but don't tell anyone. You've just consented to read a book that your new son by marriage, Hamlet, gave to you. One of the royal court's favorite activities is to listen to you read a book out loud, because yay, that is fun. And fun things are hard to come by in an era before a way to warm up a house without literally starting a fire inside that house was invented. As I was saying, you, King Claudius, that's you, don't forget, say to the assembled court. This story is called The Murder of Gonzago, an adventure is being chosen by you story. You look up. The title goes on for a while after that, but my first choice is going to be skip the first page, you say. There's a smattering of polite laughter. What now? Read the first page, shout, I'm not a murderer, and then throw the book as hard as you can at Hamlet's head, tell the court I regret nothing and make a break for it. Let's read the first page. Oh, look at that. There it is, The Murder of Gonzago. 42069. Pretty cool. Ooh, read the book within a book. Here we go. You are Battle Lord Pete, or as you prefer to be called, Dragon Master 3000, since you are the master of 3000 dragons. So, I don't know if you can see, but dragon times 3000. There's an asterisk that says skeleton blood, that's skeleton blood on the axe. And then the guy sitting down is labeled Gonzo, and the woman next to him is labeled Sexy Wife. You are amazing because of all the dragons you control. Plus, you wear the armor of a skeleton warrior, and you wield a battle axe that has the Latin phrase "facta non verba" on it in blood. You know what that means. That means deeds, not words. Holy crap, this book is already awesome. You've been feeling a little jealous lately because your brother Gonzago gets to be king, and it occurs to you that maybe if you killed him and married his wife, you could be king instead. Maybe you should do that. Or maybe you should just go slay some skeleton warriors. Let's kill our brother. You choose the go kill your brother option, but behind you, Hamlet seems to get interested in your choices. Wait a second, you remind yourself that you did actually just kill your brother. So maybe reliving the murder in front of the court through the medium of high literature is not the greatest idea. Uh, Onward to adventure and also murder. You announce that you really did intend to choose this option. Behind you, Hamlet whispers to himself, "Man, I knew it." You read out loud the text on the page. Ye garden. He's sneaking. You find your brother Gonzago sleeping in a garden. Gardens are really super boring, so it makes sense that he fell asleep. You hear your audience murmur in agreement. Sneaking up on your brother, you notice that he's sleeping on his side. You have some poison in your pocket. Do you hold his nose and pour the poison into his mouth? Pour the poison into his ear? Or realize that murder is terrible, leave and go kill skeletons instead? They're basically dead already. If you're trying not to get caught, I really think you should go kill some skeletons. Now let's poison him in the mouth. You turn to the appropriate page. It says, "Totally getting away with this." You pour the poison into his mouth. Like all sleeping people, your brother doesn't wake up when cold liquids are poured down his throat without his consent, so this whole thing goes really well. Congratulations, you have just murdered your brother. Perhaps you'd like to assume his throne now as well. Behind you, Hamlet whispers to himself, "Man, that's close enough. Only a murderer in real life would approximate a murderer in a fictional environment as well." Nice one, Claudius. Hamlet now believes you murdered his father. It seems you have two choices. You could throw the book down, yell that you hate it, and run out of the room. Or since an innocent person would actually not react that way, you could just continue playing as if nothing's wrong, thereby not instantly confirming your guilt and allowing your choices to be read as simple random chance. What now? Run out of the room. You tear out of the room, throwing the book behind you, leaving Hamlet and your beloved Gertrude alone in front of a very confused crowd. Today's not going very well for you, huh? You run into your room in tears and lock the door behind you and throw your face into your pillow and cry. Well, Claudius, there's no two ways about it. You globbed up big back there. I think you better be Hamlet for a while, huh? Be Hamlet. You are Hamlet. You just saw your stepfather confirm his guilt about killing your father because you read a book and chose the options that the murderer would have chosen in real life. He's definitely guilty. This is entirely reasonable. There is absolutely no other conceivable explanation for what you just saw. After Claudius tore out of the room, your mother followed him, and after she left everyone else there too, leaving the room empty but for you, Ophelia, and Horatio. Did you see that? He totally chose the murder options, and then he freaked out, you say, really excited. There's no denying that, says Horatio. This means the spooky ghost was correct, you say. Ophelia looks at you for a moment, then opens her mouth to speak. Wait, hold on. I can't remember. You've made a lot of crazy choices. Did you and Ophelia break up the last time you saw her? I, I don't remember that happening. Um, yeah, man, we broke up. Actually, reading the book within a book. Ophelia told me we were cool, so we're definitely cool. Not only did we break up, I actually was Ophelia before Claudia started reading the book. To tell you the truth, not only did we not break up, but she said she wants to marry me and I'm the handsomest man she ever did meet. She explained that if you look up sexy in the dictionary, there'd be a picture of me with the caption, "We put this here because we knew you wouldn't want to die without ever having seen a hunky chunk of a man." Let's just say, yeah, we broke up. I'm sorry to hear it. I mean, it makes sense, but sorry about your feelings, buddy. Okay, so you've just said that means the spooky ghost was correct, and Ophelia has looked at you strangely and now she's speaking. "A ghost?" she says. "You're crazy." Then she looks at Horatio and says, "You're crazy too." And then she looks at you again and sighs, "I don't even know why I'm here," and leaves, shoving past Rosencrantz and Guildenstern in the doorway. Looks like you two are still broken up, which makes you sad. But on the plus side, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are totally awesome. Bros before woes. You're about to greet your best bros with your choice of high fives, slaps on the back, or hugs all around. Guildenstern holds up his hand and speaks. "Your mom wants to see you," he says. "As you know, in this time period, if you want to talk to someone, you have to literally walk over to where they are and chat them up, which I can hardly believe. Anyway, she's lazy, so she wants you to walk to her instead." "Dude, she said she's astonished by your behavior," Rosencrantz adds. "Astonished isn't real slang, you say." "Just trying it out," Rosencrantz says, and you high-five to linguistic experimentation. "Well, I guess I'm off to see her," you say. Just then Polonius enters the room and says, "Hey, your mother wants to see you." "I know, nobody wants you here, Polonius," you yell at him. "God, I could just stab you through a curtain." Hey, that gives you an idea. Uh, Go stab Polonius through a curtain. Okay, you wanted to kill your stepfather, but why not kill Ophelia's father instead? That's obviously a really good decision. You leave the room with Polonius in tow. You find a nice empty room with a nice curtain in it and tell Polonius to stand behind it. He does. You stab him through the curtain. Oh, I am slaying, he says. His eyes roll back in his head. Oh, it was much sooner than I expected. Well, now you've got a body to hide, and it's not even the body you wanted. Nice going, Hamlet. Thinking quickly, you close the door to the room, so at least you won't be discovered for a while. Unfortunately, you forgot that the key is on the other side of the door, so now you've locked yourself into a room with the body of the man you just murdered. Whoops. Suddenly, you hear someone coming down the hall. If they reach this room and find you here, it'll be game over. You must dispose of the body and or escape the room before being discovered. You have 8 turns remaining. Look a room. I don't see a room here. Look chamber. I don't see a chamber here. Frig, look area. I don't see an area here. Look enclosure. Use up one of your turns observing the room extremely carefully. You see a medium-sized square room with a curtain on the wall opposite the door. Light escaping from beneath the curtain suggests there's a window on the other side. Pulling the curtain back, you see there is indeed a window, big enough to fit a large window, big enough to fit yourself or a body through. Looking down, you see you're about 5 stories up from the ground. Turning back from the window to face the door you just locked, you see on the right wall a fireplace with what smells like a pot of stew simmering. On the facing wall to the left is a table upon which some twine and several tightly woven but light-looking bags sit. The room is lit by several torches on the walls. I think you're in a kitchen. In your inventory, you have the sword you just used to stab Polonius. Polonius's body is here behind the curtain. Use sword on Polonius's body. Using your sword, you begin to chop Polonius's body into smaller pieces. You begin by separating the limbs and head from the body. That completed, you work on reducing the torso to smaller chunks of meaty gore. It's difficult, disgusting work. Blood gets everywhere. Everywhere. Dump the body parts out the window. You throw each meaty chunk of Polonius out the window and each hits the ground with a moist thump. Let's take stock of things. You are now covered with blood, in a room covered with blood, with a bunch of bloody body parts lying on the ground 5 stories beneath you. There's someone about to unlock the door and you need to look non-suspicious or you'll get caught. Light the door on fire. You take wood from the fireplace and attempt to light the door on fire. However, since this is real life and not Fantasyland, the door does not burst into flames instantly, but instead just singes a little. You exhaust any remaining turns in the attempt, and as soon as they are used up, the door opens, which this has the effect of knocking the burning wood onto your shirt, and that doesn't take nearly as long to catch on fire. The town criers next day all have the same story. Hamlet catches on fire after killing this guy Polonius, most exciting thing to happen in months. And you know what? It was. Thank you for firing the imagination of your subjects. The end. That was a pretty, insane. That was a pretty insane round. High fives given, 1. Potions misused, 1. Choices made, 20. Times you were 1. Times you were not, 0. Games of tennis played, 0. I think I might stop there. So we have some new options. So we can go back to Claudius reading the book, and we can go back to Hamlet is trapped in the room with Polonius' corpse. So we can continue those ones next time. Let's check out the things we unlocked this time. We unlocked the Murder of Gonzago artwork. It's by Hussey. He burned through so much of Shakespeare's dough before the clueless bard could even figure out what the credit card even was. The dude never recovered financially. His Gonzago cover was inked by Rachel Rockland and colored by Shed Andrews. I didn't even realize that was Hussey, but I should have guessed. Okay. Other one. We locked other ones. I know we did. Where are they? Okay, that one. That is gruesome. Mike Holmes, an illustrator and comic creator in Toronto. He's illustrated Adventure Time Bravest Warriors and drawn or fully created several graphic novels, Shenanigans, This American Drive, and True Story. He also published the art collection Mykonesses. This one. This one. By Faith Erin Hicks. Most recent work is Friends of the Boys, The Adventures of Superhero Girl, and the upcoming Nothing Could Possibly Go Wrong. Lives in Nova Scotia. So this one, When We Became the Queen. It's by Dave Kellett, cartoonist behind Drive, Sheldon, and is the filmmaker behind the comic strip documentary Stripped. About 5'8" and loves hugs. Just links. And then us getting our head chopped off when we lost is by Jeffrey Rowland, born in Oklahoma. Started making comics when he was 7. After 3 years of not being published, he went on hiatus until 1999 when he decided to start again, this time on internet. In 2004, he almost got killed by a spider. Now he owns and operates Topats, I don't know how to say that, Topatco.com, a company with lawyers and a forklift. Sometimes he still draws comics too. Yes, The Hot Air Balloon, that one was awesome. That was by Casey Green. Currently draws Gun Show and is also writing the regular show comic book adaptation. Unless he isn't at the time you were reading this. Maybe he died. I hope not. Yikes. Okay. Okay, that was all the art we unlocked. And we also believe we got some achievements. Was it this one? Yeah, we were reading the book within a book. Rules lawyering. For being pedantic. That was it. Okay, that was good. That's it for now. Next time we will. It got a bit confusing. We were Ophelia, and then we were Claudius, and then we were Hamlet. So lots of stuff going on, but it's fun. I will see y'all next time. Goodbye. Have a happy Labor Day.